Welcome to Watch, Review, Repeat. This is the podcast where two best friends discuss the latest in film and television and then do it all over again the following episode. My name is Colton Brown, and I'm dragging this intro out as Andrew attempts to fix his microphone. And
bullshit. I can't get it working.
It seems to be falling down quite a bit. Well, it's a one-man show
Not
today.
yet.
It's a one-man show. Andrew will offer color commentary throughout, when he decides to hold the mic
there
up.
We
but
go.
Oh, did he fix it? Okay, there he is.
We're
joining me.
back
is Andrew
in business.
Meadows. Back in business. It's Watch, Review, Repeat. Could we re-record all of that? Yes, but will we? No. You know why? Because it's content. It's good content, right? I'll try to clip out some of the fumbling, the mic sounds that might be good for everyone's ears, though. At least I'll do everyone that courtesy. How's it going over there, sir?
It's good. It's good.
Enjoying some time off from work, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we closed up. We closed up. Christmas Eve was on Saturday,
right? Yep.
So we closed up Friday, and we're closed until the 2nd. So it's like one full week off.
Yeah.
It's been nice. I think we've had something to do pretty much every day. I haven't had like a whole lot of R&R. But it is nice to just be at home and not have to deal with people. So that's
it's still different. It's still, it's work, but it's, it's better than work.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've we'll talk about it in the catching up section, but
okay.
we've been doing a few things. It's Christmas vacation or holiday vacation. And it's most excellent. It's very nice.
Very good. Should I ask you how your Christmas was, or do you want to save that for later as well?
Christmas was fantastic.
Good.
Christmas was unbelievably good. I will just show you real quick.
Oh, you got some goodies? Some goodies to show off, it would appear.
Check this out.
I see it looks like a backpack. Am I correct
is a
in saying
backpack.
That's a backpack? All right. Tell me about it.
It is the Knack Pack. I've been wanting a nice backpack for a while. This backpack here will be my work bag, and it's that big, but it's expandable
pretty
for
slim.
30. Yeah, for the daily, and then it expands to hold close to 30 liters. It's the Knack Pack Series 2 medium-sized bag. So
do a product review like we did with the Batman record.
Exactly. Every time we hop on, we do a product.
It's an unboxing.
But this will be my daily carry, or as they like to call them on the internet, it's my EDC, my everyday carry.
Okay.
And then when I go on, let's say a Puerto Rico trip, luggage. Let's say I go to Pennsylvania to visit you guys for a weekend, luggage. So EDC and 2-day pack. And I couldn't be happier. I love it very much. And that was
nice.
Yeah, we got a whole lot of other stuff and whatnot, but that was the one thing I was real excited about. Said if I don't get anything for Christmas, just have everybody pitch in $10. That way I can get my backpack. I just want my backpack.
Yeah, well, you got it. Your Santa came through for you, is what it sounds like to me.
That's exactly what happened.
That guy knows what's up. He made it on his nice list. Very good. Good for you. I know you didn't ask, but I'll answer anyway. My Christmas was not bad.
Yeah, how was your Christmas? I'm sorry.
My Christmas was not bad, actually. It's just been the aftermath of Christmas that has been pure chaos on my end. So I figure I should just go ahead and throw it out there because I think it actually explains why we're not covering Avatar: The Way of Water right now. So we'll get to that. But it'll explain why that title said Glass Onion. That is not a mistake. It does indeed say Glass Onion. We are covering Glass Onion on this episode. So here's what happened. We had a nice Christmas. I was up in New York with Anna's family, and her dad was feeling a little ill, it seemed like. He seemed like he was falling asleep on the couch, and we're like, just go take a nap. It's not a big deal. Go take a nap. It's Christmas. Everyone wakes up early, and you get tired, and you lose steam after all the presents are open, whatever, no shame. And turns out I think he was trying to hide how bad he was actually feeling because he took a little COVID test 26th, tested positive. And so everyone in the household's like, oh shit, oh man.
Yikes.
And he started to feel worse and worse. So he's better now. It's been a few days since then, obviously. So he's been feeling better now. But Anna and I have we basically, he went and isolated himself in his room. The rest of us stayed, away from him, masked up around each other. And the good news is Anna and I, as of today, quite literally today, the day of recording, neither of us have tested positive. Neither of us are feeling sick or anything like that. I cough here and there. I'm like, no, oh no. But
everything is suspect.
But both of us are feeling all right. Her mom tested positive today, earlier this morning, though. So that's kind of
how's she feeling?
Another red flag that's just not really symptomatic, really. I think she said some tightness in her chest, so she might be in the very early onset of it, perhaps, or maybe won't affect her too much. Ann and I both got our shots. We got the bivalent boosters pretty recently, so we're hoping that that's giving us a little extra layer of immunity that's maybe helping keep things away from us. But so far so good. Knock on wood. But basically, because we were close contacts, we're like, oh shit, we can't go to a theater and spend 4 hours in a theater between previews and the movie itself. So we did not get a chance to see Avatar: The Way of Water. But wouldn't you know it, we technically already seen Glass Onion because we saw it in theaters when they did that little theatrical run about a month ago. But of course, it's streaming on Netflix, and so I asked if you would be interested in covering that instead. Let's pivot to that. You'd already watched it, and so made life easy for everyone, I guess, overall. So here we are. That's why we are covering Glass Onion. Oh, and by the way, my flight down to Florida has been canceled, so maybe we're driving tomorrow if we still continue to test negative, but I will get into that more a little bit later because that's a whole other story that I don't need to get into right now. But anyway, we're here to talk about Glass Onion, and I am excited about that because maybe Avatar is worth seeing. Maybe it's it's making some money. It's doing quite well for itself.
It is making
wondering,
money.
Hey, right, is it going to be as successful as the first one? And maybe if the answer is well, not quite as much, it's doing very well for itself. So we'll say that for now. But yeah, Glass Onion. The latest Rian Johnson whodunit, the follow up to Knives Out. Do you have any fun facts about it by any chance?
Oh shit, no. I didn't even think to prepare one, be honest with you.
That's all right. I have a small one that I can share.
Nice.
In your stead. And perhaps our listeners would notice that I haven't been calling it Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. And the reason that I have not been doing that is because I think it's a stupid fucking title. It's very Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Like, yeah, we fucking know. We get it. We know. Like, most people know. Like, you don't need to stick it in the title. It's insulting that you have to do that. And the fun fact about that is Rian Johnson also agrees with me and says, he says, honestly, I'm pissed off that we have a Knives Out mystery in the title. I want it to just be called Glass Onion. I get it. I want everyone who liked the first movie to know this is next in the series, but also the whole appeal to me is it's a new novel off the shelf every time. But there's a gravity of 1,000 suns towards serialized storytelling. And so Rian Johnson's pissed off about the title, and you know what? I'm going to do Ryan a solid. And it's Glass Onion. It's now Glass Onion. I'm going to put it in the artwork as Glass Onion. You know why? Because I love Knives Out, and it's a great fucking film, but this is not a Knives Out mystery. It has no fucking relation to that other than the inclusion of one Benoit
character.
Blanc.
Yeah, that's it.
So if anything, it's a Benoit Blanc mystery. Throw his name in there. Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc mystery, because if you're really worried about marketing, like, make sure that people know that James Bond's in it, and
that's true.
I don't know. Anyway, Netflix has, I think, made some choices with this film that I haven't been terribly fond of, and I think that's one of them. But they spent the $500 million for the rights alone.
$500 million.
I guess that entitles them to do whatever the fuck they goddamn please in terms of how they release it and market it and stuff. So there you have it. A small little fun fact. I have some other fun facts that I'll probably include when we talk about the film, but I think they're probably veering into somewhat spoilery territory. And this is certainly a kind of movie you want to walk into knowing as little as possible because it's a sort of whodunit kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll preserve any surprises. But that's what I have on that front, and that brings us to doing some news, which I don't think we've done in a little while. I think our last regular episode that we recorded was the House of the Dragon, Lord of the Rings double feature. the 4-hour monstrosity that was.
Oof. Yeah,
followed it
that was
up
a big one.
with 7 Decades of Horror, and then we had like a pseudo bonus episode, Christmas episode, talking about Guardians holiday special and some Christmas favorites with Sarah and Anna on with us as well. So
Our better
halves.
Yeah.
So we're back to somewhat normal here. We don't live in normal times. At least I don't live in normal times. Things are chaotic, but we're bringing some normalcy back with this. Technically, the last episode we'll record at the end of 2022 as well. Not sure it'll be up by the end of 2022. That said, but that's when we're recording it.
That's it. It's the last one
putting it there.
Last one we are recording.
Right. Exactly. So we'll say sayonara to the year before long. So let's start with some headlines. These are all going to be totally new to you because I didn't even put a script together for this. I just kind of cobbled things together. Oh, I should also say, well, this is a preview of coming attractions, I guess. I might be driving to Florida. And so step one of that was driving back to Philly. So I'm back in Philly now. I plan to record this episode in New York before we flew out to Florida, but that's not happening. And so we drove down to Philly today. We got here like an hour, probably 2 hours ago now. Had to unload everything out of the car, ate dinner, and then I was just like I feel like I'm still kind of wired almost from the experience of just driving and like knowing that I have a very long drive ahead of me potentially. So I might be bouncing off the walls. It might be a little too energetic for some folks, but that's okay. But anyway, I had to cobble a script together, like a pseudo script together, the one that I didn't even send over to you because it's so cobbled together. So aside from the trailers, which I was like, watch these, you don't know what else is coming, but you might have heard about some of these news, and we'll find out. We'll find out together. So the first headline that I'm going to throw out, I have 4 headlines to throw out at you, and you can respond as we go.
All right.
I don't really care. The first one is something that ties into something else we'll talk about in this episode. Disney Plus is apparently developing an Indiana Jones television series.
We've tried this before.
They indeed, well, I don't know if Disney Plus necessarily has, but indeed Lucasfilm has had a young Indiana Jones show once upon a time. And so basically this is very early days for it. They're looking for a writer. They don't know what it's going to be about. Who knows if it's a prequel? Who knows if it's a spinoff, maybe, or if it ties into the upcoming Indiana Jones film, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit later. So this is really like very basic, like, yeah, we want to do a thing, which is why I reserve it as a headline because there's very little information here. I think it's safe to say, maybe it's not safe to say. Maybe they'll throw a boatload of money at them, but I would imagine this would not involve Harrison Ford, much like that other Indiana Jones show that you referred to didn't actually involve him specifically. Right. I would imagine this would be kind of separated from that.
Like they did with National Treasure, which I have not seen any of.
Yes, that's right. That's right. They put that new one out, which doesn't have fucking Nicolas Cage in it, right? So,
yeah.
I will say, apparently Harrison Ford made a cameo in one episode of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, so I stand corrected. But for the most part, I think we can say he was not really involved with that project. Yeah,
so first and foremost, do you have a story to tell, and is it good?
Hey, that's what you have to ask about every series in existence, right? Like, does this have a reason to exist?
That's right. I want very much, and it doesn't have to be Indiana Jones. It doesn't have to be we're remaking the Goonies. You can come up with your own fresh, new IP. It doesn't have to be National Treasure. But a historical, I don't know, just like treasure hunting adventure. Those are always so much fun. Love them. Love a good adventure movie. And they're few and far between, and the ones that, come out seem like they're trash. So hopefully the new Indiana Jones movie's good. Hopefully the series takes off. They find a good writer. They find somebody passionate about Indiana Jones. And if they're calling it Indiana Jones, then it has to be a young Indiana Jones, because surely it's not going to be an old Indiana Jones.
We don't know what they're going to call it. I think it's just a vague series set within the Indiana Jones-averse. Whatever that could be, You
know what it could also be? It could also just be Mr. Jones or Mrs. Jones or whatever. You know what I mean? And it could be the kid of Indiana Jones or...
Mutt. Bring Shia back. It's going to be Mutt Williams.
Jesus. bring Sean Connery back. Is Sean Connery still alive?
I think he might be dead, but you can resurrect him digitally, probably.
Yeah. I don't mean to laugh. Anyways, yeah, just tell a good story. That's all I want.
Right. Yep. I agree. So this is clearly a long ways off, but that's all right. We'll have plenty of indie content to tide us over next year. Moving on, next piece of news. Once Upon a Time, Blade lost its director. It got delayed. I think we talked about that a little while back. Marvel is attempting to right the ship. They've hired a new director. It's a man named Yann Demange, who has directed, I think, biggest movie he's directed was White Boy Rick, which I think was the Matthew McConaughey one. Came out 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
It's this kid from Michigan selling all the drugs?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And then beyond that, I think more recently, he directed, I believe, the pilot of Lovecraft Country, the HBO series. He did the pilot.
The first episode was pretty fucking strong.
The first episode, which was probably the best episode of the entire series.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
One of those, So yeah, that's who they've brought on board for Blade. Obviously, to star Mahershala Ali as Blade. It's going to be working with a brand new script written by Michael Starbury, who has been nominated for an Emmy for something or another. So yeah, I mean they're kind of putting pieces back in place to figure out what Blade needs to be.
Blade needs to be a fucking good movie. That's what Blade needs to be.
Well, clearly that's the prerogative. Is all right, whatever was happening before, not cutting it. Let's do this right.
Yeah, man.
Let's hit reset. Let's delay this movie and cause a cascade of other shit getting shuffled around too, but let's not chuck out some piece of shit.
Seems like
that's gonna
Blade is almost like a tentpole
character.
Or not tentpole, but it seems like it must be a very important movie or story that they're trying to push everything forward with.
Yeah, and I think that it sets the stage for that supernatural side of the universe, which has very, very briefly been explored, I think, at this point now with Werewolf by Night, but really not in any way
a whole
otherwise.
lot.
You know? So if they're really trying to push into a kind of new unique corner of the universe, you want this to have you want this to be your tentpole picture that sets up for everything, and you want Blade to be kind of your, I guess, way that you seed this throughout everything else. Yeah,
it could have been strange, but I digress.
It could have been strange, but it's like magic. Like magic and the supernatural almost seem separate now. Like it's not quite the same.
That's true.
Kind of sphere. Although I guess maybe you could just say, supernatural just come from a different dimension or something like that. I don't know.
Midnight Suns would be fucking awesome. So we have Avengers and then Midnight Suns. That'd be so cool.
I'm very down for that. Maybe that's what they'll build towards, at some point post Secret Wars or whatever, which is only 4 years away or something like that. So yeah,
we'll see.
Blade is set to come out now, September of 2024, which is almost a year delay from its original date. So still a couple of years to wait for that, but hopefully they've got it figured out. Hopefully they've got it sorted out now. So that's a headline for you. Moving on to the follow-up, the latest film from Makoto Shinkai, who directed Your Name and Weathering with You, has been given an American release date and a new American title. It's called Suzume. It's coming to theaters April 14th in North American cinemas. And I think it just came out in Japan. I think it's making boatloads of money there. I believe it's getting very good reviews there as well. So I think we got some sort of trailer a while back. I think there might have been another updated one of that, but I think we got kind of a flavor of it before. But I also think it's one of those that it's the Your Name guy? Okay. All right.
We'll watch it.
Good.
Although I never watched Weathering with You. I need to watch that one.
It's good. I don't think it's as good as Your Name, but it's worth watching, I would say.
Your Name was incredible. An incredible
film. Yes. Very incredible. So I'm excited for this to come out in April. So I'm looking forward to that. And last but not least, we're gonna spend some time dunking on Netflix and some time on this episode probably saying good things about Netflix has done, or at least good things that Netflix has perhaps put out. But my last headline is I'm gonna dunk on Netflix, and we never have actually. I don't think we've actually talked about this project in any way, at least in terms of trailers that have come out. But maybe you've seen on your little Netflix splash page, The Witcher Blood Origin. Have you seen anything about this television series?
I was scrolling through my Facebook feed. It's where I get most of my news. It's why we don't let me source news articles. I was scrolling through there and it said, The Witcher spinoff has no fans. It's like nobody likes it. Apparently, everybody hates it. So.
Well, you know what? That's about the headline that I have for you. It has received Netflix's worst audience score of all time on Rotten Tomatoes. That's my headline for you.
Oh, that's terrible. And I've seen some trash Netflix shit. So
yeah,
that's
well,
really bad.
It mentions in like the same, like, here are the ones that are like as close to it were the Resident Evil Netflix one. I forget what else. But some seriously shit things that like you're like, okay, yeah, that all checks out. Critically, it's at 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Its audience score right now, 10%. From nearly 4,000 ratings. It's a 4-part, I think, miniseries type thing. Which is a prequel to the Witcher series, which obviously is experiencing its own level of turmoil with the Henry Cavill, Liam Hemsworth thing that we've now talked about too many times. But anyway, yeah, so I guess maybe I just included this because I'm a little bitter about the Witcher stuff and how it's all gone down.
Yeah. Took a downward turn very fucking quick.
Then they're chucking out this piece of shit apparently, like, who's this for? Like, clearly, like, you had goodwill, I feel like, with fans in that first season. Going into the second, maybe, I don't know, you watched the second season, I didn't. I feel like people were a little iffy on it, but it seemed like it wasn't a disaster
still showed
or
up.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one just feels like a blatant cash grab bullshit kind of thing where it's just like, yeah, we didn't read any of the books, or we did read the books and we didn't like it, so we've decided to chuck them in a furnace and do our own thing, and this is the end result.
And man, if you do your own thing with the property, it's
just don't do a bad thing. That's worse than what already existed.
Exactly. Don't throw what's there out the window just to step in a pile of shit. Exactly.
Yeah. Here's a nice home cooked meal. Actually, I'm going to chuck that in the trash.
I'm going to cook something else for you.
And I've scooped up a pile of dog shit from the lawn, and here you are. Do you like this? Why don't you like this? Please enjoy this. I made this for you. I got this for you.
It's exactly what it is. I haven't seen it. I can't talk about it, but it does sound pretty terrible. I'm not sure that I think I've got other things to watch, to be honest with you.
That's how I feel. I'm like, it's yes, maybe there's a layer of review bombing happening here to some extent, although it's for once not misogynistic based review bombing. I think just pissed off Witcher fan review bombing probably. But just, yeah, like, I don't need to fucking waste my time with this. Honestly, I don't even think I'm ever going to go back to The Witcher, the mainline series. Because unless season 3 serves as a sort of conclusion, like, I'm not watching that shit without Henry Cavill involved. Like, I'm just not doing it, So, I don't know. Anyway, yes, I'm bitter about it. I know. Just a bitter old man.
Something happened. I logged in. I logged in my phone.
I was going to say anything. I was like, I don't really know what I'm looking at on Andrew's webcam, but, you do you over there.
What actually is it?
I look like your pants for a second there. Just
my
some
pants?
Jeans. It's got some jeans action. Now it's blank. Now it's nothing.
It tried to switch it over to my iPhone camera.
That's what I thought. It was maybe your phone or something. Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, and it looks like I am still recording. We're still live. You can put that in there too for content.
All right, perfect. Yes, we're just loading this thing up with good content. All right, are you ready to talk about the top news of this episode?
Yeah, let's talk about it. What do we got? What could be better than The Witcher?
Well, apparently anything, I guess, but not a high bar to clear, I guess. We have a few trailers, but before we get to those trailers, I think that now might be a good time to talk about the latest goings on at Warner Brothers and DC Studios,
also known as What the fuck's going on over at Warner Brothers?
What the fuck is going on at Warner Brothers Discovery? That's right. That's exactly right. You're bringing it back. That's a nice callback that you've brought up there. Yeah. So specifically, we're talking about DC. DC is in a very odd transition point because I think, as we probably would have last talked about this in any sort of depth, they've brought on James Gunn of Guardians of the Galaxy fame and producer Peter Safran, who's worked on the Suicide Squad and some of the other, I think Shazam, both Shazam movies and some other DC projects. So you got a filmmaker, creative, and James Gunn. You've got the producer, the numbers guy, perhaps, and Peter Safran. And They are the Voltron Kevin Feige, right? I think that's what we decided. They're the Voltron Kevin Feige for DC. And so news has kind of started pouring out over the past few weeks, however long since that announcement, of basically being like, here's what's kind of going to go down with them. Because basically I think they basically were like, we're figuring our shit out, and then we're going to present this to WB. And then that presentation was made, privately, and some details have kind of come out here and there, both from official and unofficial sources. So I'm going to try to collect it all best I can here and summarize what is happening and what the plan is, at least as far as we know, for DC. And I'll gauge your reaction on that and see if you think maybe this is the right direction for DC, or if you do things differently, or who fucking knows. I don't know if there's a right answer. We'll see. We'll see what everyone's kind of take is on this. But the first real piece of news that I have is that Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward, at least in its current incarnation. And so basically the backstory of this, which also, there's some rumor things and things, maybe they happened that way, maybe they didn't, I don't know. Patty Jenkins, who directed the first two, submitted her written, script treatment with Jeff Johns to WB. This is maybe before Gunn and Safran were involved, maybe not, but basically they said, no, we're not doing that. We don't like this, and we don't want to do that. And I think, some of it's like a financial thing of being like, we don't really want to do that. I think some of it's also in some ways just basically being like, well, we're not really just doing a continuation of everything. Like, it's a somewhat of a reset kind of time for us. So it might be a good way to reevaluate who we want in these projects, who we want making these projects. Do we want a sequel to two pre-existing films if we're really going to not really do anything with that?
The answer to that
version
is no.
of the character. I don't know. I think Patty Jenkins actually put out a statement about this too. You know what? I'm going to backtrack and I'm going to follow the story as it broke, as best as I can recall.
All right.
Using sources, I'll say. So yeah, we kind of talked a little bit. All right, Wonder Woman 3 not moving forward. This is from the Hollywood Reporter that they came out. Considered dead in its current incarnation. All right, covered that. So what happened next? The Wrap, which is not, I don't think, a super reputable trade or anything like that, put out like, here's what actually went down kind of thing. And basically they said that the producers, the coach, the CEOs at WB, the film group, told Patty like, this we don't think this treatment works. They didn't think it was the right direction for the franchise, and said she should consider pitching something else for the IP in a different direction. And then apparently, according to the Wrap, Patty Jenkins refused and let them know. She let them know that they were wrong, that they didn't understand her, didn't understand the character, didn't understand character arcs, and didn't understand what she was trying to do. And to underscore her point, according to an insider, she sent an email that ended with a link to the Wikipedia definition of character arc.
Oh, shit. That's spicy, Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, very
spicy.
And so, anyway, Patty Jenkins subsequently put out a statement on the interwebs, and she says, I'm not going to allow inaccuracies to continue. So she put out like this kind of long statement of telling her, I guess, her side of events kind of thing, which basically also touches on the fact that like she hasn't, like, nothing's been happening with the Rogue Squadron project that she's been attached to for a while, and she says it's sort of in development, and she's sort of, maybe going to do it at some point, but, not imminently. And then she addresses the Wonder Woman 3 thing. And she says, DC's buried in changes they're having to make. I understand these decisions are difficult right now. but she says she never walked away and that she was open to considering anything asked of her in terms of what was done with Wonder Woman 3, and that there was nothing that she could do to move anything forward at this time. So, and there's some other stuff talking about Gal Gadot being the greatest person in the world. Wonder Woman is the greatest character, has the greatest fans, blah, blah, blah. Great character, good fans. I won't say anything mean about that. But, I think it's a classic, quite literally in this case, probably a he said, she said story of they're taking things in a different direction. Maybe they actually legitimately did not like what she presented and said, bring something different, and she said no, and they said, well, you can try something else and it'll be different, and she said no, I like this, I want to do this, and like, okay, well then we're not doing that. I don't know. Had you told me this story after the first Wonder Woman came out, I might think, Patty, maybe she should stick to her guns, maybe she knows what she's doing. I am hearing this story after seeing Wonder Woman 1984, in which case I say, purge everyone involved. I do not need to see them ever again, because holy shit. Aside from some great Pedro Pascal dancing, Andrew read my mind. I don't need anything that reminds me of that film. And Anna's working theory is that it's Jeff Johns who is the real culprit, who fucking sucks, and that Patty Jenkins is a talented director and maybe even a good writer too, but she's been brought down by the men around her, by Jeff Johns being a fucking terrible hack who, among other things, has written the Green Lantern movie and such, and co-wrote 1984. So I don't know. Anyway, we don't really know what the fuck is going on truly with Wonder Woman 3, but we do know that whatever version of that was maybe going to go forward at one point in time is no longer happening. I think that's probably the true bottom line. And again, it comes amidst this wave of, all right, well, what the hell is going on with DC right now? Like, what's the plan moving forward? So this is all in like a Hollywood Reporter article, and there's a few other things that they touched on, basically being like, the Snyderverse is done. No more Snyderverse. We're done with that shit. There was apparently a Man of Steel 2 that was in development at one point, and that's not happening anymore. And there was apparently, they basically said, Aquaman, there's not going to be another Aquaman after this next Aquaman, and there were going to be cameos in The Flash of certain characters, but we're cutting all of that because we don't want to set things up that aren't going to get delivered on in the future.
Hard reset is what it is.
It does seem to be close to a hard reset, is what it seems like. Unlikely. The sequel to Black Adam is said to be unlikely in this article. We'll follow up on that momentarily. So yeah, it does seem to be, all right, well, a lot of the things that are currently in motion is, we're gonna nip those in the bud. Obviously the movies that are already made, we'll put them out. Even The Flash, apparently, we'll still put that out. We can can Batgirl, but we can't can The Flash. So that was kind of that was kind of the basics of the Hollywood Reporter, which is fucking messy. It's messy as shit. It's super all over the place. But
it's always been messy. It's no surprise, really,
right? It's par for the course with DC, right? But there have been other little pieces of news that have come out. I can tell you about those too. And if you have something else to say, you can go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask if Warner Brothers was the one that ran out of money and they only could make 4 movies in a year. Is that Warner Brothers?
Ooh, might have been. Seems right. I think it was. Seems right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Continue.
So, other things that were in the rumor mill, and then here's the thing: James Gunn, like, he just responds to everyone on Twitter, and he's like the guy. He's half of the Voltron Kevin Feige. So like, if he responds to something, one presumes he knows what he's talking about, given that he's the guy and he has the answers. And he's quite direct with them. Unlike Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige always answers a question with like, maybe you'll see in the future. I don't know. He's kind of that guy.
He's one of those.
James Gunn's like, that's fucking horse shit. No, that's fucking stupid. No, we ain't doing that shit. That shit's fucking stupid. That character's fucking lame as fuck. Fuck that. Any fans of this, they don't know what they're talking about. Fuck them. No, he hasn't actually said that, but he's pretty direct with
it's
people.
Pretty close. He's
exactly.
toting the line.
So he said that this Hollywood Reporter article, some of it's true, some of it's half true, some of it's not true. Some of it we haven't decided yet whether it's true or not. I don't even know what that last part means. I guess maybe they're weighing to continue certain characters, maybe, would be my guess. Like, we haven't decided if Aquaman 2 bombs, like, we're fucking done with Aquaman. Like, maybe that's what that means. I don't know. But other things that he's addressed, one thing which was, I think, of particular note that was also a little bit worrying, I think, was that there was a rumor that they were trying to figure out how to fold the Matt Reeves Batmaniverse into the proper DC universe. bring Robert Pattinson in as like the Batman, blah, blah, blah. And he has completely shut that down, says that is entirely untrue. It is going to remain separate, at least for the time being. And so I think that's fine. The Rock has put out a statement saying that a Black Adam sequel is not going to be part of, the imminent plans for DC. The way that it was kind of phrased was basically like, it's not that they'll never do anything with the Black Adam character. It's just like, we're not doing a sequel, first of all. And also, we're not asking The Rock to play Black Adam in any sort of projects in the near future either. Which, okay, is what I say to that.
Oh, fuck. Is it James Gunn that has to deliver this to everybody, or is it...
He's said a few things. Like, he's said a few things directly. The next thing I'll talk about is something he announced directly, and he's obviously been getting a lot of shit for it because it pisses a lot of people off for various reasons. But I believe The Rock was the one that put out a statement. And his statement was funny as hell. Let me find his, too.
It just seems like James Gunn's... just fucking... He's pulling an Elon, just fucking firing everybody. God, take your shit and get out. I got it. I'm not...
Kind of, but I think at least, he
it's
presumably
warranted
has,
at the very least,
well,
right?
it's warranted in the first place, but he also has the tools, I think, to
rebuild from the ground up.
it and say, all right, we'll do a fire sale right now, but it's because this ship needs to be righted some way. Whereas I think Elon's Twitter escapades are basically, I don't know how to run a company. I'm going to plummet this into the ground and fire everyone that works on this and tries to keep it going. And we'll see what happens. Oh, I'm losing lots of money? Huh. Who could have seen this coming?
He's got a fuck ton of money. It's okay.
Yeah, it's like I can afford to just run this company into the ground. Who cares? It's not going to affect me personally in any way, other than getting a little upset at people voting for me to be ousted as a CEO. Vox Populi or whatever. Fucking idiot. Fucking goddamn moron. By the way, not the first time we'll talk about Elon Musk being a goddamn idiot and that being represented on screen in this particular episode. Big theme of a certain movie. But
good.
Black Adam
that was a
statement.
plug, by the way.
Yes. Black Adam statement from Dwayne Johnson says, I want to give everyone an update. We've agreed to continue exploring the most valuable ways Black Adam can be utilized in future DC multiverse chapters, whatever that means. James and I have known each other for each years and have always rooted for each other to succeed. Black Adam will not be in their first chapter of storytelling. I guess that's what the big thing is. Like, we're not doing anything with this right now, at least.
Not yet.
And that might be a nice way of saying maybe we'll reconsider it in 5 years once we get through DC Phase 1. But I think it's just basically being like, we're good. I think we're okay. We watched that movie. We're doing just fine. We'll do our own thing. Thank you very much. But it's just funny because The Rock includes in a statement, you guys know me, and I have very thick skin. You can always count on me to be direct with my words. Very thick skin. The person who notoriously has been in a gigantic shit fit with Vin Diesel for like half a decade now from Fast and Furious. Very thick skin. There's another thing because Black Adam was reportedly going to lose money and not turn a profit, and there was some allegations that Dwayne Johnson fed fake numbers to a trade so that they would report, oh no, actually just kidding, every other source in existence is wrong. It is going to turn a profit, and here's why. Now we crunched the numbers, and here's what we got. And it's like, my dude, your movie kind of sucked. You're not good in it. And people didn't really care because it's kind of a lesser known character, and like, like it happens, man. Like, you can roll with the punches, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Highest paid actor in Hollywood. It's totally okay.
You'll be fine. You will be fine. You will personally be absolutely, totally, very fine. Yes, that's another good point to make. So, anyway, I think last nugget on the DC front, because I'm done talking about it at this point. James Gunn went on Twitter, officially announced that Henry Cavill will not be returning to the role of Superman after all. Despite Henry Cavill making that announcement, despite him literally appearing in fucking Black Adam at the very end, he will not be returning as Superman. And the reason for that is because one of the early projects in this new iteration of the DC universe will be a Superman project that will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life. And Henry Cavill, he's just too fucking old. He's just too old for that shit. He did say we had a great meeting with him. We're big fans. We talked about exciting possibilities to work together in the future. But basically, he's not going to be Clark Kent. He's not going to be Superman anymore. They're going to go in a different direction, bringing the character to life. And that Superman film is something that James Gunn is writing. He's writing a script for. I don't think he's intending to direct it, but he's very, very, boots on the ground involved with that. Beyond just we're going to make a Superman movie as part of the DC universe that I'm responsible for. So that's the big Superman news, I guess we'll say. Do you have any thoughts on that? I do think that is kind of the final bit of the DC roundup. But anything on that particular piece of news there, or anything else we've talked about?
I think that I am currently looking up James Gunn's writing credits.
Pretty much anything he's directed. I think he's had a hand in writing or written, by himself, more or less.
He's I'm just curious to see if I think that his writing chops are like
his sensibilities are really not Superman-y, at least in terms of what he's done before.
Right. Do you know what I'm saying?
They're usually a bit more mature, adulty, rated R kind of thing, which is, I have to imagine, not what they're doing with Superman, because they've already kind of done that with the Snyderverse, and it wasn't literally rated R or anything like that, but it was like dark and broody and edgy, and like, we don't need to do that. And also, he's already written, or he produced a What If Superman But Bad kind of movie in Brightburn a few years ago. So I feel like
that's right.
He's gotten that out of his system, I think. So I know maybe this is like, I'm going to do something that's a little happier and more I don't know, wholesome than my usual shtick. Maybe that's his thing that he's trying with Superman. So I don't know. The Guardians has had a really nice emotional core to it, but it's still always had an edge to it at the same time. So,
and it's I don't know, it's funny,
Mm-hmm.
Superman for me is the
Superman.
He's almost
funny.
like he's like, well, yeah, I guess so. I guess it could be
a bumbling goof as Clark Kent, and a all-American hero as the Man of Steel.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I guess you could go that route. That route would be okay. That'd be okay. That'd be fresh. I guess I think of Superman being like challenged because he's like so like good. He's like Eddard Stark, but he's invincible.
Yeah. Just too good for this world.
Yeah, exactly.
And then dealing with that. Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I think it's one of those things.
But if you're fresh, bumbling. Because all the DC stuff, all the Warner Brothers stuff is fucking dark,
right? And I think you got to go in the opposite direction now. Like they've done that with some characters, like Shazam's like fun and like whatever, but like a lot of them are just like fucking dreary, right? Like Batman's dreary, and like obviously the Batman is dreary too, but like that's fine. It's in its own pocket, and I think it works for certain characters. Superman is not a dreary character. Should not be a dreary character. And so I really think like this is like almost the biggest like first challenge they can set for themselves is like, if we can get Superman right, everything else should really just click into place. Because like, some of this shit should make itself, right? And for whatever reason, Superman has been such a big struggle to get right. It's like, I think they got casting, right with Henry Cavill. I think he was a good Superman. They just never let him actually be Superman. It was just this fucking dark, mopey, asshole kind of. Not quite Homeland or anything like that, but like not that far off.
Why start DC with Superman? I mean, I know it's the biggest, it's a big name. Everybody knows Superman.
I guess because it's the character that hasn't been done right in a long time. If you set the stage in the right way, I think things can kind of fall into place. You can have a Batman, you can have a Wonder Woman, whether it's Gal or someone else coming back. I don't know.
But was like Iron Man? Was Iron Man before? Iron Man wasn't the first Marvel movie, I guess, but it was the first Marvel Studios.
The first MCU one, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can start with lesser characters if you want, but Marvel did that out of necessity, whereas DC doesn't have to, at the same time.
That's true. I guess that's true. Yeah.
It was a rights situation for Marvel. It was like, well, we got Iron Man, we got Hulk, and we got Captain America, and we got Thor. I don't know. Iron Man. Get that guy that was in prison for a while and likes drugs. He's clean now. He's good. He's good now. People love this guy.
Just, if I was pitching anything to DC or Warner Brothers, I would say, if we're going to hard reset everything, let's kind of make like it almost a fringe character, a fringe story. You know what I mean? Let's just make something seem one-off, sprinkle a little bit of expanded universe into it, and then go from there. Slowly build it up. You know, because Marvel stuff started slow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a big symptom of, or a big problem, I think, with the Snyderverse was like, you went from a Superman mostly standalone film to Batman v Superman and Doomsday and Superman's dead. And it's like, whoa, that should have been like 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know, getting to that point, and you get introduced to Wonder Woman along the way, and you get introduced to, you know, Green Lantern and Aquaman and the Flash along the way. Instead, it was shove everything in one fucking piece of shit, you know, type of thing. So, yeah. Don't do that again. You know, I agree.
We'll
Start
see what
slow.
happens.
I think you can still do major swings with some of these characters. I don't think we'll see a Batman movie, right. You know, I think that we've been successful with Batman, so maybe we'll see Superman and then like another lesser known character, like a lesser tier Justice League type character, or a different pocket of the universe kind of thing. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna stop guessing. Because we'll know at some point in 2023
I guess we'll
what
see.
the hell the plan is. Maybe they'll put out like, you know, a presser of here's phase 1 of the DCU, or here's chapter 1. We're going to call it chapter 1 because we're different. And well, yeah, we'll see what happens. You know,
they should have started, honestly. If I was James Gunn, this is going to be the last thing I say. If I was James Gunn and I just got the whole DC universe in my pocket, this is everything I can do. I'm starting with a John Constantine movie with some funny, fucked up demons, and we're gonna make a Constantine movie. It's the one area that Marvel hasn't dived into, and we're gonna build it from the supernatural out. That's what we're gonna do. I think that'd be awesome. Because you can't compete with the Marvel train. The Marvel train's fucking moving, dude. It's heavy. And you're gonna throw in Superman in here? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. But to be continued, obviously, with this story, because we'll find out much more about what's to come with the new DCU from James Gunn and Peter Safran. But those are many things that aren't happening anymore, maybe aren't happening anymore, are definitely happening in the future. Who's to say? Maybe they'll happen in the future. I don't know. But that's the current state of affairs. It's quite messy. But that's what we got. That's what we got on that. All right, we got some trailers to talk about.
Trailers.
Well, we just can't stop talking about James Gunn. Let's talk about him some more. The first official trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, his last entry with the Marvel Cinematic Universe before he really goes full time with DC stuff. It's coming in theaters May 5th, 2023, so it's just a little less than a half a year away. Got a good look at things. Obviously, Star-Lord and company, and many other things in it. You know, some of the things obviously that were set up from the holiday special as well. But yeah, it looks. Well, you tell me how it looks. Why don't you tell me? I want to know what you think.
This looks like a sad movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's always something about Guardians that feels like fucking emotional. And like this one's like the emotion that we're going to focus on is making you sad as fuck.
That's what it was. Yeah, I mean the last one was Yondu was man, that was a tear.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
so rough.
I was trying to think. I was like, well, you know, Volume 1, I feel like, you know, they brought the Guardians and you have that moment where they all, you know, use like the Power Stone together and like where the Guardians of the Galaxy bitch, like, oh, it's like fucking hype shit, right? And I was like, Volume 2, I was like, it wasn't that sad. It was like, you know, like Ego was an asshole, and Nebula and Gamora had like a sisterly type thing, and I was like, there wasn't anything sad in that. Yondu, man, fucking Yondu, out here destroying things with his arrow. But Yondu, man, yeah.
Saddest part of the first one was the mom in the very beginning. That was brutal.
Yeah. Within 2 minutes, it's just like, fuck you.
Oh, this is
gut
the
punch.
movie
Gut punch.
This is the movie we're watching.
Yeah. This one looks like it's just going even harder on. I mean, I swear to God, that one shot of little baby Rocket. I fear for little Rocket. Feels he's like, I'm done running. Whatever I'm saying. I'm just like, oh
brutal.
God, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with little Rocket and the Guardians?
So do we think so it's been confirmed. I don't think it's spoilers. The guy that the villain of this movie is the High Evolutionary who
that is correct.
Hybrids, right?
Right. Yep. Exactly right.
So do we think that's who made Little Rocket?
I think that is a very, very astute observation. I think that is exactly what is the case. I think we'll be getting some Rocket backstory. I think that'll be our tie-in to the High Evolutionary and why they go back to Counter Earth or wherever it is that he is, and the kind of place that we see in the beginning with all these talking animals.
What's that place called? This is his planet. He's the god of this planet.
I think it's called Counter Earth in the comics, but they may or may not obviously retain that for the movie itself. But yeah, I think that's what we're getting, because we see like an otter type creature who is almost certainly Lila, who's like Rocket's like sort of love interest in the comics as well. So,
oh shit,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Obviously, how they do with all that. There's also another thing of Adam Warlock being in this. We see very briefly Adam Warlock in this trailer. Looks like he's punching, doing a little bit of punching.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on in this.
He has no gym, though. He has no gym because there's no. Well, he's got something in his forehead. We don't know what it is, but it ain't no soul stone. Let's put it that way. Or yeah, like a soul gem or whatever. Yeah.
And the other sad thing, I guess, is this is a Gamora that does not love Peter, because it's a different Gamora than he knows, and she's looking fucking crazy and off on her own thing, doing her own thing.
Yeah.
So how's that going to play? I don't know. It's going to be an emotional movie.
Multiverse shit too,
right? Because she's the past version of Gamora brought forward to this timeline. So,
oh my gosh, it's too much.
It's going to be a lot.
I can't.
And I think James Gunn, when he was making this, he's like, I know this is my last Guardians thing. I'm putting everything I have into this thing. So, yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a
rough one.
I think it's going to be a lot to take in. I'm really looking forward to it, because I will say, and we'll get into this obviously when we do our best of 2022 type things. I don't think Marvel has hit super, super consistently this year, but I feel like this one looks like it's going to be a fucking banger and looks like it's going to be the gut punch in like all the right ways. So,
oh yeah, I think it's for sure. We don't have long to wait for it. There's another Marvel movie that we don't have to wait long for either.
Yeah, fucking Ant-Man's out in like 2 months or something.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's gonna be nuts.
So yeah. Only have to wait till May, and we'll have Ant-Man and fucking Kang the Conqueror and all that goodness before then even. So
can you believe it?
I think 2023 is shaping up for a pretty good Marvel year from the looks of things. And we got all other, shit, I'm sure, the rest of the calendar year too. So yeah. Any other final thoughts on Guardians Volume 3?
No, that's
all
it.
right.
I think it looks like it's going to be pretty good.
All right, let us shift gears then to talking about Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, coming to theaters June 9th, 2023. Beast Wars, baby. But somehow still just looks like a Transformers movie. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you disagree. Maybe you think this looks, like...
I think it looks more... I will say that, and this is through the lens of Bumblebee, is what I'll say.
Sure.
Aside from like the weird the song choice for the trailer was I felt
it was like NWA, wasn't it? It was like an NWA like remix.
Yeah, but it was
thing.
like slow. It was like supposed to be, I don't know. But anyways, I think it looks pretty good.
All right.
It looks pretty compelling. Yeah, I mean the effects look cool. Optimus Prime looks like a badass.
What about Optimus Primal?
Optimus Primal?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
He's the gorilla one.
He's the gorilla one?
Yeah, that's Optimus Primal and Optimus Prime.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's
kind of weird.
He's the one that rolls up and says, I'm Optimus Primal, but Optimus Prime, I'm not your enemy. That's what he says in this trailer. The real enemy
His name is Optimus Primal?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Maybe they'll just call him... I don't know. They'll just call him Primal, maybe, to make it easy on everyone.
Okay, yeah, that would be much better. I will say that Yeah, like I said, I think it looks like it could be okay. The Transformers looked cool as fuck in this one. Specifically,
the designs
one with
still look better than they did in the Bayformers for sure. It seems like it's got more of the blocky Gen 1 / the latest Bumblebee movie type of aesthetic, where it's like these kind of look more like they did as toys and cartoons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
While
it looks more comic booky.
Well, yeah, more comic booky in a way, but still, not like shitty CG type stuff, or anything like that. So, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you're maybe higher on this than I am. This trailer itself did nothing for me. The only thing that really, no Michael Bay. That's great. Obviously, we love that. I think this is a continuation to Bumblebee, which I really, really liked, surprisingly enough. This one just didn't really seem to have the same sort of energy to it. It felt more Transformers-y in a bad way, I guess, than Bumblebee did.
It's true.
But I also think Bumblebee, if I recall, had bad trailers and turned out to be like a surprisingly good movie at the time.
It was actually ridiculously freaking good.
Right, and I don't think any of us expected that going into the theaters. Even though it wasn't a Michael Bay type thing, I think like the trailers alone were like, nah, this doesn't look very fucking good. So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, this it could be something.
We'll see what we get.
We'll see what we get. I like Anthony Ramos. He's playing like the human lead. I fucking loved Beast Wars as a kid. I guess what I thought when I knew that they were doing like Beast Wars stuff, it would be like more in like
straight up Beast Wars
in like the Beast Wars world, and not bringing Beast Wars characters into the regular world. Like it's like the Sonic thing for me all over again. I'm like, I don't fucking need Sonic in the human world. Like put Sonic in his own world. Put the Beast Wars characters in the Beast Wars, verse or whatever that is. Like maybe it's a different
that would have been cool
whatever,
too.
But and maybe we'll get that. Maybe at some point we get a Beast Wars spinoff and it's just straight up, Beast Wars stuff. But that as it is, it's just like, oh, it's a Transformer, but it turns into a giant cheetah instead of a car or a vehicle. Okay. Fine, it's different. I understand it's
How
different.
did that blend in? That didn't blend in the jungle.
Yeah, what's the practical, use of that? None whatsoever. That's okay.
Who mistake that thing for a real cheetah?
Yeah, it's 16 times the size and it has gears all over it. Nuts and bolts. I don't know. I don't know, but you know what? It's all right. We'll see. It's going to be. We'll go see it.
We'll pass judgment here in a little bit.
We'll go see it, won't we? It comes out in June 9th, 2023.
2023 is going to be a fun year.
We got some good things to look forward to, and we'll talk about those when we preview the year. Probably just a few weeks' time, I would guess. So, all right. So that brings us to one final trailer for something also coming out in June of next year, but later in June 30th of 2023. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So,
yep.
So lots going on here. I mean, it's Indiana Jones. We got a new title. We got a trailer. It's a new era of Indiana Jones. No Steven Spielberg directing, but Harrison Ford's
Who
back.
is attached to this?
Well, it's James Mangold who is directing, of Ford v Ferrari and Logan fame. 310 to Yuma as well. So pedigree there certainly. Harrison Ford is back as both young and old Indiana Jones. We got some de-aging going on here. They're de-aging Indy. And we got some others. John Rhys Davies is back. But we've got some newcomers. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in it. Antonio Banderas is in it. Maz Mikkelsen is playing a fucking Nazi in this.
Okay.
Almost certainly the villain, given that he's a Nazi and he's Maz Mikkelsen. That's all he does mostly. So, yeah. I mean, how are you feeling about it? You like the name? You like the trailer? You like what you see?
I think that this could be... Yeah, I want to say that this is the tick to the talk. We got the shit one last time.
We're at the odd numbered entry, so therefore it has to be good.
Exactly.
Observing the known laws of the Indy universe.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking to it. I mean, the cast is there. The director is there.
Right.
Shia LaBeouf is
MIA.
absent.
Apparently, his absence will be addressed within the film. He's studying at college for the entirety of this film. Please do not ask again. Go away.
It looks like there's some time hops. Like they go back and they go back and forth between Indiana Jones's adventures and stuff. It seems almost like it potentially could be like a greatest hits of Indy, which might be pretty cool. You know what I mean? I think if you tell the story under that lens, hey, like this is the last. It's the last Indy.
The last hurrah
adventure
for Harrison Ford as Indy, right? Yeah.
Or just the last Indiana Jones adventure in general, right?
Sure.
This is the last go, and you're going to show younger clips of them, and you're going to show future clips of them. You can talk about aging and like the story beats can add a lot of depth to the character. I think you have a really good premise for a good like character movie. At the same time, deliver on an awesome upbeat adventure thing. So I think there's a lot of potential here. Just can it deliver? We'll see. I'm excited about it though. I love Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too to see, some new blood. I think in the franchise. I think it's a tough thing for someone to try to step in like Spielberg's shoes or anything like that. But I think James Mangold's got good chops. I think he's probably someone that has liked this franchise for a long time, and that can sometimes work where you come into this a franchise like I love this, like I know how to do this right, like I know what can be done for this franchise, and I feel like he's the kind of guy that can make something like this work, bring back Indy in the right way. We try to that fourth one, however many years after Last Crusade, and it wasn't exactly a success, I think, all around. This one has the potential to get it right, have another chance of getting it right, and I'm looking forward to it. Don't love the title, but it is what it is. It's not about the title.
Dial. It's what Dial of Destiny, I think. Or
yeah,
something like that.
It's some alliteration. All right, cool. But I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe once we know the significance of it within the movie, it'll make a little bit more sense. So I don't know. We'll see. June 30th of 2023. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Okay. Do you want to talk about Glass Onion, my good sir?
Yeah, let's do it.
Glass Onion, and no subtitle in this movie, actually. As Wikipedia notes, titled on screen and commonly known as simply Glass Onion, because indeed that is its title. So it was written and directed by Rian Johnson, stars Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Jessica Hennick, Madeline Klein, Kate Hudson, and Dave Bautista. It is about things. It is about Benoit Blanc, the master detective, who takes on a new case revolving around a tech billionaire and his old friends. Is it just Elon Musk? We'll talk about it.
Yes, it's hilarious.
But before we talk about the movie itself, I have a couple of things to touch on. First of all, a box office breakdown. Yes, a Netflix film with a box office breakdown. Box office breakdown. So this got a very limited theatrical release back around Thanksgiving. I saw it then. I've actually rewatched it since, today, in fact, in the car and finishing it at home, just because I wanted to watch it a second time before we recorded. But it did get that very limited theatrical release. And so what they did was they did a 1 week exclusive theatrical run in only about 600 locations, about 600 theaters. And they thought, this is our marketing strategy. We're going to, hype this film up, but make it limited and, and play for only this period of time and only a few locations. And they didn't actually report the official numbers, but basically the sources seem to believe that it made about $13 million during the Thanksgiving weekend and around $15 million or so during that week-long run, which would have put it about third that weekend. I think it was Black Panther's third weekend or something like that, or second weekend maybe. And so obviously it made, as much money as it did. And which was pretty good, I think, considering the low theater count, the limited run, the limited time and stuff like that. I think the question was basically like, okay, this did well, but like, would this have just made a lot more fucking money if they actually just released it like a normal movie? After all, the first movie made over $300 million worldwide, was made for a tenth of that, maybe. You know what I mean? So I don't, it's a very much a what if kind of thing of,
I think the answer is yes. It would have made more money if it was released in theaters regularly.
Right.
Sure.
So one of the estimates from someone that runs a movie consulting firm was basically like, if this got a proper big wide release, this probably would have opened about $30 million and made around $300 million worldwide, which is probably, on par with what the first one made, So it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe let me see if I was quoting the wrong thing. Hold on. I got to check. I got to fact check myself live on air. See if I actually got the box office numbers right of the first Knives Out. Please hold.
I think it's absolutely accurate to probably say it would do just as good, if not better, than the first movie.
Yes, okay. I was reading something that was right. Knives Out, the first one, made $312 million worldwide. Yes, one would assume. You make a sequel. Obviously, we know that it played really well, given this release strategy. It probably would have done just as well, if not better, right, than the first one. So you're talking about leaving $100-ish million on the table at a minimum, factoring in budget, marketing, blah, 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 distribution, whatnot. Your movie still makes $300 million worldwide, and it's made for $40 million. That's a pretty big fucking coup. So they probably left a lot of money on the table in terms of the pure box office success. That said, it was a smash success on Netflix. It managed 82.1 million hours watched in its opening weekend of, Christmas weekend when it dropped, which is pretty fucking good. According to Variety, that's about 35 million households tuning in. And so again, it's like, I mean, I don't know how the math checks out of like how much money are they making from that many people watching on Netflix? Is that driving a huge amount of subscribers? Or is it literally just one person sharing their account with 5 other people, and that means that 40 people are watching it for $10? I don't know. I don't know how the math all checks out, but it does seem like this is something that could have played really well theatrically, and I can say that as a viewing experience, it certainly played well theatrically. But hey, if this is how Netflix is going to, do their $500 million thing, and they're content with whatever success it gets for them, I guess it's all on them. They can make the decisions that they want. I will be curious if, come the third one coming out in a few years, whenever it does, if they'll do the same thing, or if maybe they'll try to revert back to a more traditional release strategy and see what happens. But I don't know. We will figure it out when that one happens. Whatever blank a Knives Out mystery comes out, fuck off, because we're going to keep that branding. They're attached to it now. Even though Rian Johnson
spent that money, they want to know. It's like I would say that it's the equivalent of spending a lot of money on car tires.
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is when you have expensive car tires, you put the white walls out. You put the white lettering out so everybody can read the name of the tire.
Right.
Even though black tires look better than white and black tires. But you want everybody to know.
Gotta know.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Whatever.
What did you think about Glass Onion? And again, just Glass Onion. What did you think about just Glass Onion?
Glass Onion. I thought Glass Onion was a lot of fun. Much like the first movie. I thought it was funny. I like seeing all of these people in one frame. I will say that. I really enjoyed the cast. Yeah. Excellent cast. A cast unlike, other than the first Knives Out, I would say unlike anything else. You know what I mean? Other than, I guess, you have the Kenneth Branagh one, the Orient Express.
Again, and I even made a comment along these lines of just being like, how much do you think Kenneth Branagh fucking hates these movies? And he
hates them. Hates them. It's like, fucking pissed.
That's what I want. I want people to like my movies that way too. And it's like, well, maybe don't cast Russell Brand and company.
You know, I think it's really cool, man, when you get all these people in one. I mean, there's a lot of creative energy there in one frame. I'd be very, very, very interested to see the behind the scenes of this movie. There's a lot of cinematography things that happen that seem really, really cool. But it's not like consistently cool. Like it's, hey, there's this one scene and we want to implement a creative take on it. You know what I mean? So when it happens, it's kind of like enthralling. Like I don't know. I just got really excited about it when it happens. Well acted. Score was good. Thought it was good. A lot of fun. Solid whodunit. It's a solid whodunit movie. There's a lot of fucking people that could have done it. And it was nice to see Ed Norton. I like Ed Norton, and I didn't really see him around a whole lot. So it was cool to see him. Yeah, fun movie, dude. That's what I got. I mean, you can't talk a whole lot about plots and stuff, but I thought it was well paced. Yeah. It didn't seem too long. And it kept you kind of on the edge of your seat every time you thought you put the piece together. Something else would happen, and it would kind of throw you off a little bit. And cool movie, just a cool movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think my first thought going in, and I'm someone that likes Rian Johnson's work. I was a fan of, yes, dare I say it, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. But like Looper and that first Knives Out was just really, really fantastic. I was going in this movie thinking, well, how's he going to do it again? Like, how do you recapture that magic? How do you have another satisfying whodunit? And is it something that he can accomplish in a limited time frame of, oh shit, everyone really likes this first one, I've got to churn out another one and have it be witty and snappy and fun and kind of capture that same sort of vibe and, be pleasing to everyone. I'm reminded of True Detective, where season 1 was critically acclaimed, and then Nick Pizza Man shat out season 2 like a year and a half later or whatever, and it was clear that like he had no fucking ideas. Clearly, he had no idea what to do. Was only doing it because the first one was successful and well regarded. And I'm very happy to say that Glass Onion is absolutely not like True Detective season 2 in any way whatsoever. It is a rousing success in my books. I thought it was a really, really exceptional film, worthy follow-up to the first one, buoyed by yet another obviously very talented ensemble cast. Just, I think the easy thing with this one is because that first one was so successful, you probably had people lining up being like, I'll be in this. I'll take a $10 paycheck. I'll be in your movie. I don't really care. And this one especially, like the first one is like, it's like a stuffy old, house kind of thing. This one's like, we're going to film this whole thing on like a Greek island, is that okay? Is that okay? You want to just like come hang out on this private island for a while? So it probably wasn't hard to convince any of these cast members to come on board, based on the pedigree and based on the filming locales. But I just really, I thought it was really, really interesting. And I think that the thing that I appreciated the most about this is that it was not a carbon copy of Knives Out in any way whatsoever.
No.
Very unique, very different. Plot structure was different. Yes, it's still a whodunit, a mystery at the core, but I think it approaches that in a really clever and fun sort of way that makes it feel very different than what we got with Knives Out, while still having that sort of Rian Johnson spunkiness and unique energy and fun to it. But totally standalone. Really is, like he said, and like I quoted at the beginning, like picking up a different novel off the shelf. Yes, it's Benoit Blanc and, and Daniel Craig just having fun with my Southern accent, like him being absolutely fucking ridiculous, of course, but relishing it in the most wonderful way possible. He's great in this as he was in Knives Out as well. And all the other aspects are really, really great. Like Knives Out made really, really good use of a mostly single setting, obviously different rooms and different ways that they shot throughout that house. And it was really cool how they did that. And it expanded here and there a little bit outside of that, but not a whole lot. this one does kind of the same thing in a bigger, basic setting, right? It's an island.
Yeah, it's all an island.
Aspects to the island. There's buildings. There's a big building. There's a big plot essential part of the building and stuff like that, or part of the island. And there's a little bit beyond that too. But it's really interesting. The setting is really interesting. It's never boring, and the way that they shoot around it is really, really compelling. The set design is really, really impressive, and in a way that's just so different from the first one, where the first one felt like, oh yeah, no, this does really feel like a big house for this family of this author, renowned published author, and this one feels like, yes, this is a tech geniuses, a billionaire's private island with art and shit strewn about and glass objects and, just ridiculous architecture type things. Like, it's fun. It's really cool. And I don't know. Yeah, he just really nailed it, I think, in terms of story elements, characters, characterization, and really just kind of keeping you on your toes of the whodunit, with some things in plain sight that you can pick up on a second viewing, and some things I think probably not quite in plain view, or anything like that. There's certainly some elements that would be hard to pick up on, I think, just on a cold viewing, if you're playing detective along the way, but that's okay. It's part of the thrill ride package that it is. So, really enjoyed it. Beautiful looking film. Great score. When I was rewatching it, like I said, I saw it in theaters the first time, obviously looked great in the theater. I was rewatching it in the car on my iPad, and I finished it. It was on 4K on the OLED, and I'm like, oh my god, I was I was doing this film such a disservice watching it on my fucking iPad. Danny's looking down on me, saying, no,
speedboat in a bathtub.
It was pretty fucking close to that. If I would never have done that for the first time watching it, let me put it that way. But for a second time watching it with limited time on my hands, all right, I made do, So anyway,
I will. Yeah,
very good, very, very good film, and a rewatchable film. I'll say, having seen it twice, very, very rewatchable. So, any other non-spoiler thoughts for you? Do you have a recommendation for it?
I do have a recommendation. I recommend that you see this movie in the. I think you see this movie in the cleanest way possible. Don't watch it on your phone or your iPad.
No iPads. It doesn't matter how big it is. I don't care how big your laptop is. TV, big ass TV, big ass speakers.
Like I watched it over at Sarah's parents' house, and Sarah's dad got a new TV for the living room. It's not an OLED. He's got a surround sound deal, but it's three like it's like a surround sound in a box, if you will.
Yeah.
And I really want to watch it again. Just
because you just know, you're like, this isn't quite right.
I imagine it's going to be quite beautiful on a just a different setup. The experience will probably be a little bit different. So I will rewatch it before I go back to work. Just because I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. And a movie like this, I think it's real fun to rewatch, to try to pick it apart once you know
the clues are there. They're there for you to pick up on for the most part. So, it's fun going back and saying, oh, I didn't catch that the first time.
Yeah. So, I say that, this is I think that this is another Various movie.
Yeah, we don't need to recommend whether you need to see this in theaters or not, because I think
it's not an option anymore.
You don't really have a fucking choice. So it's Netflix or Netflix for you.
That's it. But watch it if you got a friend with a good TV. Go watch it there before you watch it on your phone. Yeah, it's definitely a Various movie. It's definitely a must see for 2022. I think that it really puts a book stop in the year for movies.
Yep. Good way to conclude the year. Definitely. I'd say it's a Various film through and through. Highly recommended. Enjoy it. Certainly on a TV. Certainly on your first viewing, at least. It's great, good fun. Especially if you're someone that liked Knives Out. This is just more of the same without being quite literally the same, if that makes sense. It's just going to whet your appetite. If you've been yearning for something like this, nothing else has quite hit this mark. Sorry, Mr. Branagh. Nothing else has quite hit this mark, you know, in the same way that Knives Out has, and this is the thing that does it. And you know what? It's totally different than Knives Out. So you might like it better, you might like it a little worse, or you might just say this is a different thing, and that's okay. You know, both of these things can stand, and I like them equally. I don't know, but it's a very yes for me, just like Knives Out was, I'm sure. So you want to get into the nitty gritty of the who done it? We want to talk about who done it and all that. Spoilers.
Spoilers. Full
spoilers for Glass Onion. All right, where to begin? Do we actually start with whodunit? Did you, how much, let's start with my question to you. Were you playing detective along the way? Were you trying to piece things together? And if so,
of course, absolutely.
How right or wrong were you?
I mean, I saw it on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
So I guess less than a week ago. But I don't know. I feel like such a goober when I watch these things because, like, I kind of just get what's fed to me, right? I'm trying to piece it together.
This is a film that, to be fair, it is quite exposition heavy in some parts.
Yeah, and I couldn't. I don't want to deflect, you know, and say, well, I couldn't hear it that well, or I couldn't see it that well.
This TV is too small and these speakers aren't loud enough.
Sarah's brother he was down from Ohio. He's feeding me beers while I'm trying to piece together a mystery. Every time I'm sitting there drinking a beer, I'm like I got like a quarter of my beer left. He's like, "Hey, dude, you want another beer?" Okay,
I won't say no.
Knock it exactly. You know, and so by the end of the movie, I'm like, "Oh, this thing's a great movie," you know. But I get
knives are out, bitches.
That's. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I just felt like I was along for the ride. I tried to piece it together.
Sure.
I thought certain characters were definitely more suspicious than others, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of red herrings, you know, and there's a lot of people that could have done it. I did not suspect. Not until probably I suspected the guy that did it before it was announced that he did it.
Okay,
but still more than like halfway.
He
through
didn't know
movie.
how the pieces fit necessarily. You're just like, it might
exactly.
I think he has something to do with this.
Exactly. There was a little intuition there, but it was pretty far in the movie. You know, I think it was probably around when. After the person got shot, somebody got shot. So I guess we're in spoilers.
Spoilers. You can just say, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's a movie that kept me guessing. I think throughout because it really does shift gears of who's a suspect, or even like what the fucking central crime is, or you know, like what it is that we're even worried about. Because really, for most of the movie, we don't really know what the central thrust is, other than there's a murder mystery that's, you know, like a fake planned murder mystery that's going to happen that then devolves into chaos and death and stuff like that. So for a while, it's just kind of like, well, who are all these fucking assholes? You know, like what's everyone's deal? You know, there's a lot of buildup in that first probably hour or so of, you know, what's everyone in this for? Like what's everyone's deal? So I feel like there were points where I'm like, oh, they all did it. It's a fucking Murder on the Orient Express again.
Oh shit!
And I was like, well, I mean, if Agatha Christie did it, that means it's a classic in the whodunit playbook, which feels kind of lazy for Rian Johnson to do. So that's probably not it. And also, we did get an adaptation of that quite recently, so that also feels like that's kind of samey. So I was like, well, it's probably not that. I don't know. I don't think I really had a good grasp on it all the way through. There's only one thing that I picked up on, and I didn't know what to make of it, and it's the fact that he uses made-up words or the wrong words or malapropisms, I think is what Benoit Blanc calls them. The Elon Musk guy, Edward Norton's character.
Says words wrong?
He says words wrong. And, you know, like, and there's one that he says, I think it's imbreviate or something like that. Like, can we just imbreviate this moment or something like that is what he says when they first get to the island. And I remember the first time in the theater I heard that, and I heard him saying, like, the fuck did he just say? I was like, I don't think that's a word. I didn't think anything of it, and it's kind of funny rewatching it because the whole thrust of it is basically Benoit Blanc just assumes this tech genius is a really smart guy and he knows what he's doing. And the key to unraveling the mystery is figuring out, oh, this guy's a fucking dumbass that's just riding the coattails of everyone else that's around him. And which, again, Elon Musk, excuse me, what? Huh? So that was something particularly rewatching the first time was picking up on the dumb shit that he does and the clues that he's kind of just a dumbass. And I read something, and I think this was something that Edward Norton did. There's the flashback sequence when they're in the Glass Onion bar, when they're all younger, and he's dressed up like, I was like, what the fuck is he like? What's he dressed up as? I was like, is that just like this is old, so he's wearing dumb shit kind of thing? But apparently Edward Norton, I think, came to set wearing a costume from Tom Cruise's character in Magnolia, because it's something that would have come out around the time in that. And it was emphasizing the fact this guy's not original, so he's just copying what he sees in a movie to be cool.
Ed Norton, dude.
Kind of thing. And Rian Johnson's like, I love it. So I thought that was kind of very interesting thing to do. So I really appreciated that. And I thought it was, I will say, I think the only thing that holds it back from being able to really put all the pieces together. I feel like Knives Out, the pieces were there. I think the pieces were in plain sight, and you could have put them together, or at least had a pretty good guess. This one, I feel like it holds back a lot of details about Andy's character, right? Because she dies before any of the events of the movie takes place, right? She dies under mysterious circumstances of maybe killing herself, but maybe she's murdered, and that's the whole thing. And there's a lot of backstory that you get only halfway through the movie, right? And I feel like a lot of that is kind of critical to understanding, the motivations for everyone. And so I do feel like it's hard to super piece it together until you have some of those nuggets of information kind of fed to you a little bit towards the end. But then it kind of builds to that natural point of, oh, no, he's an idiot. And he's the one that did it. And no, he is, despite just being a billionaire who could probably just literally hire someone to kill you and get away with it. He had to do it himself, kind of, just that sort of stupid thing. But I found it satisfying, I guess is kind of my ultimate point. Even though I couldn't necessarily string it all together and put all the pieces together myself, I wasn't that smart or anything like that. I am no Benoit Blanc, you might say. I felt it was really satisfying and interesting. And the progression of it I thought was really, really compelling from...
Yeah.
The moment when Benoit solves the murder mystery, the fake murder mystery in 2 seconds, can we begin guessing before it even happens?
And
I thought that was incredible.
Ed Norton's all shitty about it.
Yeah, he's fucking pissed.
You all ruined my whole weekend.
I thought that was great. To fucking the Dave Bautista, pineapple juice shit.
Yeah.
It's just so dumb. It's just so dumb. So dumb, it's brilliant. No, it's just dumb. This is great. Dialogue was hilarious. I mean, some of the characters were... The
banter's excellent.
The banter was very good. And the characters, I feel like, intentionally, from very different backgrounds, but I feel like each of them kind of hit a nice archetype of Dave Bautista's fucking, streamer, men's right kind of fucking idiot.
Liver King.
Yeah. Rhino boner pills
Joe
and stuff.
Rogan.
Yeah, he's basically just, almost even more ridiculous Joe Rogan kind of guy. Just ridiculous. Kate Hudson's character. Oh boy. Where to begin with her? She her
keeps
fucking
doing racist shit.
Her fucking because this takes place in COVID during COVID times. The whole thing takes place during COVID, and so in the beginning they all have masks.
See through a mask,
and she has the fucking mask with holes in it. She just shows up in the beginning. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, how perfect is that? And there was little things that almost see the little mask things I thought were really clever. The governor, Catherine Hahn's character, she shows up and her mask is under her nose. She can't keep the mask over her fucking face. One of them's got a mask with holes in it. Benoit Blanc's got a cute fabric mask that hey man, is he living with Hugh Grant? What's going on there? It's just fucking fun. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And then like the fucking mysterious shots in the throat of just being like, you're good now. You don't need to wear that anymore. You're good. Just, I don't know. Little things like that were just like little quirks that were just very fun, very interesting.
What is in this?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, that was really good.
I can't remember who got the shot first. They walked over, and they opened up their mouth and just they just shoot him in the throat.
Yeah, I think it might have been Kate Hudson that got it first. She was just like, "Yep, I'm good."
So funny.
That was good. Just trying to think of other little things like, fucking hell. Because everyone's got their own little story, like their own little connection to Miles, like of why they're like in his pocket, I guess, so to speak, or why they're never going to go against him.
Why they're on the golden titty.
They're on the golden titties. That's right, exactly. And please tell me that you did not think that sweatshops are where sweatpants are made or something like that. It was just like, oh man, that was incredible. I liked that there were relatable characters in there, like
hilarious.
Oh yeah, just ridiculous. And she takes her mask off. Oh, I feel like I can breathe again. Just say how it is. Just like. Honestly, Rian Johnson didn't have to do much writing. He could just cull different things from like, this is just shit people say, and I can make a character out of this, and people will be like, oh, that's so funny, that's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of those. I think people out there.
There's a super quotable line though. I think Benoit Blanc says it to Kate Hudson. I think he says something along the lines of, "It's dangerous."
To say something without thought or something like that.
Yeah, to say it's honesty, but you're really just saying it without thought. Exactly.
Yeah, she says, "So you think I'm dangerous?" or something like that. Oh man, it's funny. It honestly,
everybody's just
some
an
of
idiot.
it's so biting and like. It's funny because so much of this rings true of just like, Jesus Christ, these are real people. These are all real fucking people that we know and associate with. And just like, it's more fun when they're in this setting and they're being played by charming actors who we like, overall. Like, yes, I like Edward Norton a hell of a lot more than I like Elon Musk. I like, I don't know. I guess I like Dave Bautista a hell of a lot better than I like Joe Rogan. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it was good. Really, really good stuff. How about the Mona Lisa inclusion?
The Mona Lisa inclusion was hilarious. All of
it's great,
man.
There's so many layers to it. I mean, there's
like an onion,
layers like an onion, and or like an ogre, perhaps, and you can see clear whatever the glass onion metaphor is that they talk about. But really, honestly, there is just so much in this. It's so intricately crafted. You almost don't realize it, like throughout, like it, especially in that first hour, where it really is just build up. Like you begin with the puzzle boxes, like a very fun, like 10-minute opening sequence of just being like, here's puzzle boxes. Here's some Hellraiser shit for Andrew. I bet he loved that. In the beginning, it's like fucking puzzle
I actually
boxes.
did. Especially when it started opening up, and I thought it was fucking hilarious that one lady took a hammer to it.
Yeah, that was great.
The sister, yeah.
That was
Fuck
awesome.
this box. I'm done. I'm fucking hammering it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was great. But just the real life stuff woven in to just making it like still fun and charming, and like, yes, these are obviously like dumbass characters who are shitty people, but just in the same way that like Knives Out, the first family was like, these are all a bunch of fuckheads, like that's really what you thought about a lot of those people in that first Knives Out, but they were fucking hilarious to watch. It's the same way here, like what a bunch of toxic fuckheads that if I met any one of these people in real life, I would fucking despise them. And
I
wish
feel
them
like,
no ill, but
Rian Johnson knows all of these people.
Right,
in one way or the other.
I think a lot of it is like Knives Out was so successful and like people love that shit that like he's probably getting overtures from these people, like talking to him, and he's like, "Fuck you!" Like I'm gonna make a whole fucking movie about how dumb Elon Musk is and how much of a fuckhead he is, and like he's gonna be such a dumb fuckhead that he won't even realize it's actually about him.
Oh, that's so funny.
Shit like that. I don't know. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And I thought Janelle Monáe, The cast-wise, Janelle Monáe I thought was fucking fantastic. I really, really enjoyed her. She played the twins, I guess, as it were.
Yeah. She was excellent.
There's a part, because they go Hindenburg at the end with the glass onion, and there's a part where she's trying to get the Mona Lisa, the switch off so that it'll burn the Mona Lisa, and she stands up and just does a quick double middle fingers and just starts running. I just thought that was incredible. Just little flourishes like that just had me in stitches. I don't know if you have any other thoughts.
It was an absolutely hilarious movie.
Very funny.
I watched it, like I said, I watched it on Christmas Eve, and it was a well welcomed Christmas Eve present. I mean, it was
for sure.
I really enjoyed it. A lot of fun, man.
I think the thing is, when you rewatch it, it's really fun to look for the details. Like obviously paying more attention to Andy's behavior, knowing that she's not actually Andy. And the things like, when Edward Norton gives the glass to Dave Bautista, if you look at it, like the actual very first frame in which he does it, he just straight up hands him the glass, and so it's kind of
that's got to be the most noticeable
it's in plain
thing,
sight.
Right?
Yes, and I don't think you actually see the shot where he picks up his phone, but if you for half the movie, Dave Bautista's phone sticking out of his back pocket the entire time, and he says earlier in the movie, I don't have a phone. I don't carry a phone with me. So it's you could notice that there's a phone in his back pocket the whole time, and they're looking for this missing phone. So there's little things like that where it's just
okay,
they're there. They didn't just pull shit out of their ass at the end. I mean, some of this the twin stuff is a little ass pully in terms of, well, how are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to fucking know that she had a twin sister? I mean, come on. But it's okay.
Right.
I think it's really clever and fun, and it gives you that death fake out with the shooting, which was good, because I was fucking bummed when she got shot and killed. I'm like, oh, damn, I liked her character. That's fucked up. I want to have the partner that gets fucked over by the tech genius idiot, be the one that wins. And she does it in fiery fashion, I guess, this way, and, gets the friend group to flip on him. And the napkin burning was brutal. That was tough.
Yeah.
But yeah. Lots of cameos, too. I did notice lots of cameos. Yet again, one of those things where it's just people are like, Ryan, I just want to be in your movie for literally 10 seconds. I'm Ethan Hawke, and I want to just be this guy that shoots the vaccines into people's throats. I just want to be that guy. I'm Hugh Grant. I want to be Benoit Blanc's partner. I'm Joseph Gordon-Levitt. This is funny. You remember the hourly dong, voiced by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No way.
Yeah. And fucking Benoit is playing Among Us with a few folks, including Stephen Sondheim, Angela Lansbury.
That was funny.
Have since passed away. Rest in peace, Natasha Lyonne and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which was great. Yo-Yo Ma.
He's in the fucking bathtub.
Yeah, he's in the bathtub. It was great. He's got a little hat on. It's very good stuff. Yo-Yo Ma, Serena Williams, fucking random as hell. And then and the film dunks on Jared Leto and Jeremy Renner both, which I thought was pretty good.
I don't remember this part. We were talking about this in the text message. I can't remember.
The hard kombucha is Jared Leto's hard kombucha. So there's a thing where it's just man, fuck Jared Leto at the end. Which was pretty good. And then the hot sauce was the Jeremy Renner hot sauce that they used for the fake blood and stuff. So
see, I don't remember all. Maybe because I couldn't see it,
or you couldn't hear it. Probably couldn't hear it. It wasn't fucking loud enough.
I'm going to deflect those two references. I don't know about those.
Yeah, and I'm looking it up because I'm curious if the Jeremy Renner hot sauce was real. I don't need no Jared Leto fucking hard kombucha, but I would try Jeremy Renner's hot sauce.
I think Jeremy Renner
doesn't look like it's
has
real.
a hot sauce.
No, it's not. It's entirely fictional, apparently.
Is it really?
Oh man, why would they do that to us? That sounds great. It's called. There's a screenshot of it. Renning hot. His face with smoke blowing out of his ears. Fucking, that's great.
No way.
You got to rewatch it. You can look out for the hot sauce and the hard kombucha and all that good stuff. So. Yeah. All right. Well, any other thoughts for you?
No, that's it. That's all I got.
Very good stuff. Highly recommend you watch Glass Onion on Netflix. Well, let's talk about what you've been up to. It sounded like you teased that you had some things to talk about earlier in the episode. So what's been going on? Are you looking up? Are you looking at that? Yeah, it's perfect. It's very good.
So, yep, did Christmas. We got a big influx of Lowe's gift cards for Christmas, and that was to renovate.
Funding a project.
Fund the Bennett bedroom project, and it is mostly complete. We have, I've installed wainscoting along the walls with a chair rail, and we painted it like this blue color. Today, I just have to, and 2 of the 4 rails have been caulked, and the boards have been caulked, and it's finished work now. Friday, carpet comes in to get laid, which is nice. And the bedroom will be done.
Nice.
Yeah, exciting about it. It was a good project. Never did anything quite like this before. There was a lot of miter cuts, which were a little frustrating. I was up till 3 a.m. the other morning, trying to get it done with my buddy Steven. I got most of it done. I finished up the chair rail today. And then Sarah's mom and sister came over to help paint the room, because I didn't want to paint. I hate painting. I haven't finished it yet. When we get off of here, I'm going to go over to the couch and finish it. But I started Netflix's Matilda.
Okay. This is the new one, right?
This is the new one. It's a musical.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking great. Not going to lie to you. It's pretty awesome. Highly recommend. At the very least, Anna watches it, because I think she would enjoy it. Okay. I think if Anna I think both of you guys would enjoy it, but I know she's a big fan of musicals and stuff. So,
yeah. She's never seemed jazzed for it. We watched the 90s Matilda not too long ago, and
she it?
She really, she loves that one. She really enjoys that. So I almost wonder if it's like a hard thing to like.
No,
you
dude,
can't make this better.
As somebody that watched all sorts of Matilda growing up, like Matilda's a soft spot for me. I love Matilda. It's pretty great movie.
Right,
it's really well done. I think Netflix actually gives it like a 91%.
It's pretty good.
Not Netflix, Rotten Tomatoes.
Netflix. This is 100%, 10 out of 10.
Been playing a lot of Marvel Snaps over my break. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, logging about 6-7 hours a day, roughly, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, my phone was dead, and so I grabbed my laptop, started playing on it.
That's the biggest. Well, I was gonna say that's the biggest hurdles when your phone dies, but I haven't gotten to the point of installing it on other devices. That's a good solution.
That is it's the best solution. What else have we done? So we built the room. I started Matilda. I watched the Way of Water, the Avatar movie with Enrique. Yeah.
Yep. We'll talk about that.
I have thoughts.
Reserve them for future conversation. But was it?
What else?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Christmas movies? You watch any Christmas movies or anything?
I did try to watch the Christmas Muppets. I fell asleep within the first 10 minutes, and I have not revisited it.
I heard you fell asleep. We haven't watched Christmas with the Cranks either, so our
maybe
movie
next
exchange
year
hasn't happened. Well, there's still time. Are you guys done with? Are you Christmased out? Is it you moving on already?
Christmas decorations are up. They are no longer around the house.
Oh, they're up. Done. They're done. Oh man, fucking.
Well, they're not up in the attic. That's
some Scrooge shit right there, dude.
Yep, but you live up the season, and then once the season passes, you got to move on. You can't linger with it.
The season's not over yet. Just because it's full, it's probably still somewhat cold down there. Hasn't totally turned warm yet, has it?
It's a little cold, but the Christmas spirit is fucking used up. I used all of it up.
No. 12 Days of Christmas or whatever. I don't know. Anna said something on the holiday special episode. Whatever she said, follow that model.
Oh, I got some books for Christmas too. I got Arcanum Unbound, Brandon Sanderson, and I got The third hardcover of Mistborn, which is the Hero of Ages, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I did get an Amazon card, so I went ahead and bought book 2, which is what I'm in. I got that in hardcover now too.
Cool.
So we're Brandon Sanderson it up. I've listened a little bit of it over break. I intend to read the rest of the book before the end of break.
The second Mistborn, right?
The second Mistborn, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to get through these Mistborns and then start Lord of the Rings. I'd like to be able to get through all the Mistborns to start reading The Hobbit when Bennett gets here.
Are you? I mean, I don't know if you're following an established reading order or anything, but are you planning to do the second Mistborn trilogy as well, or take a break after you finish the first one? Okay.
Nope. Yeah, I'm gonna burn through all of because I think they just released one too.
Maybe there's 7 now. I don't know. Yeah.
I think there is 7.
There's at least, I think, 2 separate trilogies, and maybe the 7th one is connected to one of them. I'm not sure. Like directly, I'm not sure, but
yeah, I mean, I would really, I would like to get through all the Sanderson stuff. To start with The Hobbit when Bennett gets here, and read that book. I mean, he's gonna be like drooling on himself and stuff, so he's not really gonna know about what I'm reading. But it would be cool to read that with him. The Hobbit and stuff, get into Tolkien. But if not, at the very least, get through Mistborn. So,
okay, I looked it up. There's the original trilogy of Mistborn, and then there's a set of 4, Wax and Wane. Is what they're called. So there's 7 Mistborns in total, and wouldn't you know it, the man never sleeps. He's working on a 3rd series to begin in 2025.
Yeah, there's supposed to be. There's supposed to be 3 different ages of Mistborn, and I think he wants to do the same thing with Stormlight Archive. I think he wants to have different ages with that as well.
Right, I know Stormlight's supposed to be 2 sets of 5, basically.
Yeah, so lots of shit. The guy, he's just a fucking monster.
It's a fucking machine, man. Oh, man, that's crazy. All right, anything else for you, good sir?
No, that's
Anything else
it.
You've been up to?
Yeah,
that's what you've been up to. All right. Well, I have been taking in the Christmas season up in New York. We've watched a bevy of Christmas films, mostly the classics. Only one new one, so I'll start with the new one. I watched A Christmas Story Christmas, which is I think I talked about it a little bit because, as I mentioned on the last episode, A Christmas Story is one of my favorite Christmas films. And so they made a sequel, which apparently is not the first sequel they've actually made, but it's like a proper sequel with Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out kid, back, and he's the dad this time, basically. He's old enough that he's the dad. He's got a wife and kids, and basically circumstances force him to go back to his old hometown and spend time with his grandma there. And the reviews are like pretty decent for this. I was kind of surprised. It's kind of just like, how much more could you do for this, story and take it in a new, different direction that feels, like it merits existence. I was really happy with it. I was very impressed. I felt like it was a sequel that felt really true to the tone and spirit and like the feel and style of that original. With, again, and it's kind of funny to include it in this episode about Glass Onion, without feeling like a carbon copy of the original. Just as Glass Onion was not the same movie as Knives Out with a different coat of paint, A Christmas Story Christmas really wasn't the first one with a new coat of paint, which is what I expected it to be, and I expected it to be a worse version of it, like a shitty coat of paint, kind of thing. No, I was impressed with it. I thought it was meaningful and heartfelt, and felt like like it had those appropriate like Christmassy kind of emotions, and I don't know, like it just the style of humor felt like it was lifted from the first one, but still transposed into new settings and new kind of interactions in a fun sort of way. So I would say anyone that really likes the first one, I thought this one was a really worthy follow-up to the first one. It's not the same as the first one. It's a little different. It's a little more modernized. But I feel like it kind of stands side by side with it, and I thought it ended in a really clever way that ties it to the first one, which is all I'll say for fear of spoilers. But it's on HBO Max now if anyone wants to stream it, so I definitely recommend it. I was pleasantly surprised. My expectations were low, and maybe that helped. I don't know. I feel like most of the buzz I've seen it has been like, this is pretty solid. No one's been like blown away by it. So I think I'm probably higher than most on it, but I really laughed a lot. I laughed a lot when I watched it. So, beyond that, in terms of hitting on the classics, we watched the original, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the cartoon one, which is great, good fun. I, of course, watched the Muppet Christmas Carol on Christmas Day, and what do you know? I loved it just as much as I always love it. And on Christmas Day, we also watched Elf, which I hadn't seen in a few years, and I know that's more in your regular rotation, obviously, with it being one of Sarah's favorites. Or perhaps I think that was her number one.
That was her number one. Yeah, it's
right.
It's a staple.
Yeah, so that's, I'm sure that's an every year occurrence for you guys. No, it was very funny. I mean, we talked about it. I tried watching that other fucking Will Ferrell Christmas movie, Spirited, and that was absolutely brutal to try to get through. But Elf it's very fun and, just good Johnny V stuff. No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And the next day I watched the classic Rudolph, animated one, which is really great. We watched Charlie Brown Christmas, which is also great, also a classic. And then last night, it's kind of funny because her dad was up in the bedroom, and so we had the Fire Stick set up there so we could watch it, and then we watched it down in the living room. Well, Ann and I watched it really for the most part in the living room. We watched It's a Wonderful Life, which is her number one, my number two in terms of Christmas favorites.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't quite the same as, I think for them it was a family tradition of, watching it and, responding to things on the screen and saying things to each other and stuff like that, where I'm just like, I'm just here watching the movie. I don't know the lines. I don't know all the lines in this movie yet. I've only seen it like 3 or 4 times now. But really good. Really, really good film. Highly recommended. So yeah, I think that's like we've been fucking going hard on the Christmas shit. We were gonna go see Avatar, like I said, but close contact with COVID prevented us from going to the theater. So didn't happen.
You may or may not have missed a whole lot.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to talk about it. Oh, well, I should.
Yeah, what
am I talking about? We rewatched the whole fucking first Avatar. That's another thing that we did. We rewatched that whole fucking first film.
Oh, shit.
And we watched the Collector's Extended Edition, which is almost 3 hours, so still not quite as long as the fucking sequel. The first one's actually pretty good, is what I'll say. I mean, I hadn't watched it properly in a few years, and I'm glad I did, because there was definitely... obviously there's new scenes from the new extended version or whatever, but I didn't remember a lot of it, and I think a lot of the discourse around Avatar for a long time has been like, why is this the movie that made so much fucking money? And like, nah, it's just Dances with Wolves, and blah, and what's his face fucking sucks at acting. And I will say, Sam Worthington, it's got the worst fucking American accent I think I've ever heard from any actor. It's like just a piss poor, pitiful attempt. Like, just let the man be Australian. It's fine. Like, instead of this weird half Australian, half American hybrid thing where it's just like, is this dude even trying in some of these lines? Like, is he literally just like forgetting? I don't know. It's bizarre, but I really enjoyed it. And I think, the technology obviously was impressive at the time, but it still holds up, I think, to this day for the most part. Like, some of the background Na'vi look a little fucked. But like Neytiri and, the Avatar, Jake Sully, that shit holds up really well. Like, James Cameron is a fucking pioneer, in the filmmaking business for a reason. Like, he really knows what he's doing. And even if it isn't the most original story and type thing, it's still a really good film and like emotional, and the characters, you learn to appreciate them.
There's
and grow
a lot going
with them.
on there.
So I am excited to watch the sequel. Especially more so having seen that, so we'll have an opportunity to talk about it. I'd say on probably next episode that we record, but I'm doing something before then.
We'll see.
At least I'm hoping I'm doing something before then. So, we made the mistake of booking our flights to Florida with a little company called Southwest Airlines, who is in the midst of a fucking crisis right now of canceling every flight almost on their entire flight plan, which is apparently because their system that they have for tracking, flights and crew members is very antiquated and hasn't been updated in like a decade or something like that. And so basically, like, one thing goes awry or two things go awry and the whole system buckles because there's no way to... Everything has to be manually input. There's no automation to it whatsoever. It sounds like a huge fucking nightmare. sounds like Southwest very possibly might not exist or goes bankrupt in the next few months. We'll see what happens. I really don't know how it all plays out. Maybe they can right the ship. But anyway, Anna and I were affected. Our flights down to Florida were canceled. And so we have to clear the hurdle of testing ourselves, make sure that, we are not indeed positive with COVID. But we're going to drive down to Florida is the current plan. And we're going to leave bright and early tomorrow morning, in fact, after recording this.
What time?
I think we're trying to get on the road at 9 a.m., so not like super crazy early, but
okay.
We'll do an overnight, a little more than halfway down, and get into town Friday. Basically, is kind of the goal. Both my brothers will be there, so it'll be a very small family Christmas type thing, and then we'll be there for probably a week or so. Is kind of the plan. You're invited to come hang out with us on New Year's Eve. Bring in the new year with us. That's the hope.
I will be there
as long as we can get down there. Which as long as they don't shut the roads down, as long as Southwest isn't in charge of fucking roads, we'll be fine. Cancel all the roads. So it's going to be a long ass drive. It's about 15 hours in total. So not super looking forward to the actual driving aspect of it, but yeah, I mean, it just we wanted to go down there, and one advantage that this affords is we don't have to pack as strategically for one, but also we get to bring Obi down with us. So we'll have a little Obi with us, whereas he was going to get dog sat with by our parents because we're flying out of New York originally. So that's what's on the docket for now, and maybe we'll go see Avatar when we're down there. I don't know, at some point, but we'll see it at some point for sure. So. Anyway,
we'll see what happens. Yeah.
It'll happen. Should probably wrap this up so I could go, do some last minute packing. We'd already packed for Florida, so it's one thing where we're just like, all right, well, at least we don't have to do that again. But we came back to Philly for the night to shave 4 hours off the drive to begin with, and also to sleep in our own beds for a night and stuff. So it's a short-lived little Philly visit here, but yeah, it's about to be road tripping time for us. So see how that goes.
Good luck.
I mean, you guys have it's a pretty good haul for you guys every time you guys go up to Georgia, right? I mean,
Blue Ridge? It's 8 hours. You can make it in about eight or 9 hours.
So I mean, that's probably what we'll be doing in one day tomorrow, and then probably 5-6 hours on the back end on Friday. Front load the drive, do a hotel overnight kind of thing. So yeah, just
do your best to try to make a trip out of it.
Yeah, that's the goal. We want to see everyone and celebrate Christmas and New Year's while we can. But yeah, it's
and if you come down, as long as you test negative, I got presents. For you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Santa Claus got your address wrong. Dropped them off over at my house.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right, dude. Well, that'll be it for this podcast.
That will be it. Thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, spread the word. Patreon.com/WatchReviewRepeat can get you early access to all of our regular episodes, time-exclusive access to any future bonus episodes. We are on Twitter at WRRPod and fuck Elon Musk, just to throw that in there, just a little extra fuck you for him. Watch Glass Onion and realize how much people fucking hate you, dipshit. Facebook, facebook.com/WatchReviewRepeat, Instagram at WatchReviewRepeat. Our website for if you need links to any of those, need to find anything else. For us, WatchReviewRepeat.com is your one-stop shop. Questions, comments, suggestions, have some thoughts about how much Elon Musk sucks, send them our way. WatchReviewRepeat@gmail.com. Happy to talk about that. Also, if you have any other Christmas thoughts, Christmas movie recommendations, thoughts on Glass Onion, thoughts on Avatar, The Way of Water, send those our way. Yeah, WatchReviewRepeat@gmail.com. Intro and outro tracks, Mechanolith by Kevin MacLeod and Comptech.com, licensed under the Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. All right. Next episode, for realsies, I believe it will be Avatar, The Way of Water, all 3+ hours of it. We'll do a 3+ hour episode on it. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe. Joking.
Prove Enrique wrong. He said, well, I don't think your podcast will be longer than this movie. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Sounds like a challenge to
Challenge
me.
accepted. Challenge accepted.
We shall see. We shall see. Be careful what you wish for. All right. Why don't you take us out?
Take care now. Bye-bye then.
Later's on the Demange. Oh, and a Happy New Year. Because,
Happy New Year.
By the time this comes out, who knows? Might be 2023.
Talk to you next year.
So,
Adios.
on to 2023, folks. See you next year.